Okay, imagine you are filthy rich. I mean, the kind of rich where you don't even have to look at the price tag. Now, here's the real question. When and where does all that money actually feel good? Because as we're about to see, being at the top of the food chain has always come with a surprising and often pretty miserable price.
Right. Go ahead, close your eyes. You've got it all. The power, the prestige. Now, open them. You're in ancient Egypt, 2000 BC. And guess what? Your mansion is made of mud, and your bathroom is, well, a hole in the ground. Suddenly that whole fantasy feels a little different, doesn't it?
So we are about to go on a 4,000-year trip through time. As you can see, we're hitting all the big stops, from the pharaohs to modern-day New York. And what we're going to find is how a rich person's prison evolves, from a prison of physical misery to a high-tech psychological cage. It reveals a really shocking truth about what it really means to have it all.
All right, part one. Our journey starts in the ancient world. And here, we're going to see that all the gold in a kingdom couldn't buy you an escape from some very basic, very real physical misery.
So, welcome to your new life as an Egyptian nomarch. Think of yourself as a billionaire governor. You own pretty much everything, the land, the crops, the people. But let's take a look at your luxury lifestyle. You sleep on a wooden frame with some ropes tied across it. Your pillow? It's a solid block of wood carved just right to protect that fancy wig of yours. And for breakfast, you take a big bite of bread and crunch. Yeah, that's sand. By the time you're 40, your teeth are ground down to painful little nubs.
But you know, physical pain is nothing compared to the psychological stress. Your wealth is totally conditional. It all depends on the mood of one guy, the pharaoh. You promise him a big harvest, and you get to live. But if you're wrong, he'll just casually remind you what happened to the last guy, how his name was literally scraped off every monument, his tomb seized, his mummy burned. Your entire existence, in this life and the next, is hanging on a single weather forecast.
But for all the terror of a god king, your deadliest threat was something much smaller. You see, the Nile River brought life, yeah, but it also brought swarms of mosquitoes carrying malaria. One bite, and all your wealth meant absolutely nothing. Your 7-year-old son could be gone in a week.
Now, let's jump forward 2,000 years to Rome. Life is a lot better. You wake up on a feather mattress, your marble floors are heated from below. But you see the pattern here? The physical comforts have changed, for sure. But that absolute fear of one all-powerful ruler, the emperor, oh, that is still very much there.
Roman technology was incredible. They had running water, stone toilets. But that progress, it came with a catch. The toilets were communal. We're talking sitting thigh to thigh with 20 other dudes. And your toilet paper? This thing, the Xylospongium. It's a sponge on a stick that you'd use, rinse in a bucket of vinegar, and then just put back for the next guy. Yeah.
See, in Rome, being rich didn't make you safe. It made you a target. If the imperial treasury started running a little low, some wealthy senator would suddenly be accused of treason, executed, and poof, his entire estate would be seized. Your life became this terrifying balancing act. You had to look rich enough to be respected, but poor enough to survive.
So, we've moved past the raw physical misery of the ancient world. But as power starts to get a little more spread out, a totally new kind of prison emerges. Now, it's not about fearing one all-powerful man. It's about fearing the judgment and the violence of everyone else.
Congratulations, you're a baron in 1250s England. You own a castle. You are living every kid's dream. And you are absolutely, completely miserable. Castles weren't hotels, they were military bases. They were giant, drafty stone boxes designed to stop Vikings, not to be comfortable.
This contrast just perfectly illustrates the shift in anxiety. The Baron's fear is visceral, it's real. Enemy catapults, and yes, they really did this, biological warfare in the form of plague-infested cows getting launched over your walls. Now jump ahead 600 years. The threat isn't a catapult, it's a cold shoulder at a dinner party. A Gilded Age tycoon's greatest fear is being ostracized, being socially dead, for serving lukewarm soup.
By 1895, you have a flush toilet. You have more physical comfort than a Roman emperor could even dream of. But this new control just creates new prisons. You're trapped inside 3 layers of heavy wool clothing, even in the middle of July. You're a prisoner of this rigid social schedule, changing outfits 4 times a day and going to endless boring operas. And while you're trapped inside, your underpaid workers are outside your 50-room mansion, chanting your name with torches.
And that, of course, brings us to today.
We've solved for comfort, we've solved for hygiene, but in optimizing everything, we've accidentally built ourselves a brand new and maybe even more insidious kind of prison.
Welcome to 2025. You're worth over $3 billion. Now think about this. The pharaoh wanted to be seen. The Roman senator wanted to be famous. Your number one goal? To be completely invisible. You wear a gray hoodie and sneakers, not to be cool, but to blend in. Because in the modern world, attention is dangerous.
Look at this comparison. A Gilded Age meal was this huge 12-course performance designed to show off your power. Today's billionaire meal? It's green sludge made of kale and supplements. You don't eat for pleasure anymore. You eat for ROI. The whole goal is to squeeze another 14 minutes out of your life expectancy.
But the biggest difference is the speed of modern anxiety. Back in the Middle Ages, disaster traveled at the speed of a horse. Today, you're tethered to a digital leash where catastrophe travels at the speed of light.
So you get a call from your team. An unexpected inflation report just dropped. The trading algorithms are dumping everything. Your loss? $200 million.
In 4 seconds? The pharaoh never had to worry about that. You can't disconnect. You go offline for an hour and you could miss a market crash, a PR scandal, a lawsuit, anything.
So to escape all this pressure, you try to run. You own homes in Aspen, Monaco, London. But what you find is that you're a citizen of the world, which, let's be honest, is just a fancy way of saying you don't belong anywhere. You spend hundreds of hours a year in a private jet, feeling completely disconnected and totally alone.
And this is the hidden tax of modern wealth. Despite having panic rooms and private security, you are more exposed than a medieval peasant. Your data is everywhere. Your greatest fear isn't some angry emperor. It's a single notification on your phone, a picture of your daughter, and a demand for crypto.
So after this whole 4,000-year journey, we have to ask the big question. What is the ultimate, unchanging price you pay for being on top?
Well, over thousands of years, the wealthy have conquered the physical world. They've beaten cold, disease, and discomfort. But the cost of that victory has been astronomical. They've basically traded it all for their privacy, their human connection, and any real sense of peace.
Think about it. You've optimized your sleep, your nutrition, your net worth. You've conquered the physical world that imprisoned the ancients. But as you sit there in your perfectly controlled fortress, you're faced with the ultimate paradox of wealth. The more control you gain over your world, the less peace you have within it. And what's the one thing you can't optimize? The feeling of being safe.